Amanda Shires is a great fiddle player. That was the first thing I thought when I met her when she was a teenager from Lubbock. And I've known her now for getting close to 30 years, which is crazy. Since then, she's done pretty incredible stuff. And she has a new album out, Nobody's Girl, on ATO Records, great record label. And I hadn't got to see Amanda that much. You know, our paths cross, and it's always like a tiny homecoming to get to see her again. And it was great to get to sit down with her in Nashville during the Americana Music Association week, the week of AmericanaFest. We sat down in a little cool little studio in Nashville and recorded a conversation for y'all. And it goes all over the place. You'll probably get a kick out of it because Amanda came into the taping convinced that she was also going to be interviewing me. So she does. She asks me a few questions during the course of our conversation as well. I know we get derailed a few times. It's inevitable with old friends, and she is one. And I'm really grateful that she sat down to talk about her new record, her creative process, this crazy life that we all sort of just do our best to not just survive, but enjoy. And I think she's doing a great job. And I'm really glad that you guys get to hear our conversation. So please welcome to Wheels Off the great Amanda Shires. Welcome to Wheels Off, Amanda Shires. Thank you so much for joining me.
I'm so glad to be joined.
Yeah.
Disjoined.
So normally I don't get to do these live anymore. When I first started, I would take my rig to like Tig Notaro's house, and we'd sit on her carpet and do this in person. And for the last 5 years, it's been over Zoom. So this is really nice.
That's
Thanks for
awesome.
being willing to meet up in real life.
Next time you meet Tig Notaro, can I come?
Yeah,
Cool.
She's great.
I'll just be like the runner or something.
She's probably a fan of yours. Yeah. She has great taste in music.
Well.
Yeah, we'll make that happen. But so I've heard a couple of songs off the new record. I think they're awesome. Peace of Mind in particular rocks, which is nice. You make a lot of good rock and roll for a girl that I knew originally as a fiddle player.
Yeah, I started out as a sideman and fell in love with words. And as you probably don't know, like, you're one of my biggest writing influences outside of the old folks that are dead. But no, for real. Your writing has like a real that nobody does it. Like, how do you write? Let's talk about this. How do you write I Wish the Worst for You? It's so good.
That's nice that you say that. I always feel like that's a song on the Old 97's first album, for those listeners that may not know.
Hitchhike to Rome.
But it's, I always felt like that song was sort of ungenerous.
And is that Rome, Texas?
Yeah.
No, it's not ungenerous.
But he says, I hope you crash your mama's car. I hope you pass it in some bar. It's like, I feel like when I was young, when I find when male songwriters are young, they tend to be a little bit, sometimes very misogynistic, but at least kind of flip with the way they sort of seem to be unkind towards women. And that, to me, that felt like a song that was borderline unkind. And I sometimes when I'm singing it now, I feel like,
But isn't that the stage of feelings, though, where you have these actual feelings that we're suddenly, I guess, not allowed to describe? We just got to be careful. But that one doesn't go over the edge. I mean, as a woman listener, it's also highly creative when you think of like a list type song situation. And then let's talk about, is it Rome, Texas?
It is Hitchhike to Rome, in Hill Country.
And where did you write that? In the van?
That's a line from the song. Look at you, you're already interviewing me.
Yeah, I have so many questions.
That's a line from the song Stoned, which I wrote.
I know that one.
Yeah.
Which, stoned when this whole thing started.
Yeah. Aww. And that was also the first record. I wrote that on a drive. I was driving myself back from Austin after a gig. Yeah. And I don't know, you probably did this too, where you'd play a gig 3 hours away and then you would just get in the car and drive till 3 a.m. and get home. Because who's got money for a hotel? I
mean, I probably should write more songs in the driving sphere, because that's why yours must be why so many of them sound like drivable songs. They pass the time, and then they're like you're inside of a whole world. Your records are like worlds. And then let's talk now about If My Heart Was a Car.
If My Heart Was a Car.
Was that record ordered in order of how you wrote it, or did you do it by slow songs, fast songs?
Has anybody ever made a record that was in order of how they wrote it?
I do that.
You do that?
I've done that, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I've heard, oh my God, this is so inside baseball, but I love it. I've heard a lot of different theories about sequencing, which I love sequencing.
Yeah, I hate it.
Oh, really? That's so funny. To me, it's just such a puzzle, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do they work? What's
And
the story?
And you let Murray do that on this new record of yours, right?
He produced the album, and then he brought me a sequence, and then we fought over it,
Yeah.
and he mostly won.
Yeah.
The sequence he had originally created was like, it started with the most wrist-slittingly sad songs you've ever heard.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, well, okay.
So you just put those at the end?
This. No, I put one not as sad song in like the 3 slot just to like mix it up.
Okay.
Okay, so stop. So you've got this new record coming out.
Yeah, I do, and it's great.
But it's been
awesome.
in the
I have
can for a
lot
while.
Of questions.
And but so I got to at least ask my normal first question, which is, I know this record's been in the can for a while. They've been dribbing it out, dribs and drabs. The record label does that. It doesn't come out till probably around the time this drops. Do you have a creative project you've kind of been working on since this has been put to bed? Or do you sort of let it go and live a life a little bit?
I do. No, well, I do writing every day. I force myself to. I don't, well, it's not forcing.
Sure.
It's not a discipline much as it is a devotion. And I paint a lot. So I paint really big pictures or paintings, and I'm trying to figure out how to find a place big enough to house them for people to come view them. That's not my pasture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want people on your pasture.
I mean, I don't mind people on the pasture. I just don't think anybody would come to my pasture. Come to my pasture.
That's really, it's funny. I know Bowie did some painting. Dylan has done some painting. I know Charles Thompson, Black Francis from the Pixies. I've seen some of his paintings. They're also giant.
Oh, okay.
But I wonder about that. What is that? I don't think I could do.
You can. You don't know till you try it and have to wrestle it. There's a lot of different ways to think about it, but sometimes you know that thing that makes you want to feel like you have to write a song sometimes, that you're like, oh my God, I have to get this out, otherwise I'm gonna, like, it doesn't feel good, like an illness, those type of feelings. And then sometimes they're just like, you don't know what you want to say yet, or you're still in your feelings. You can figure it out while you're painting. Same is true, like if you're stuck on one thing, you can move to the other and like it's kind of like the driving thing, where your brain kind of meditates on stuff while you're doing something else.
Interesting. They talk about like when a writer gets stuck, take a walk. But I like what you're saying, because it's like a big chunk of your brain is occupied doing this one thing, and then the other part of it's working out the solution.
Then the other cool thing is, songs, we do these, they're supposed to live with the people, and we play for the people, and it's a connective experience and all that, and then it's kind of gone. And then the painting just is staring you in the face forever, and so...
Interesting. The ephemeral nature of performance versus the permanence of a painting.
Which is also not really permanent, because you can paint over it if you want.
Yeah, it can burn in a fire.
And nobody could ever see it. Some people paint pictures just to compost them.
I always felt bad for painters in a way, because their art is so singular. Like, it only exists in one place. I mean, a song can be playing while you're having your first kiss, while you're taking a walk, whatever. Like, songs are experiential, and also they can go along with other stuff. But a painting is just a thing that you have to go walk and stand in front of. That's it.
Right, and that's a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing. It's not... I love painting, and it's magical, and it's all that, but there's I sometimes think music is the only actual real magic, because you can't hold a painting up, or you might could, I haven't tried it, to somebody with dementia and like take somebody back to a time, and you might be able to. I don't know. I've not tried that on any of my family members, but might be a good experiment.
Yeah,
but as far as I know,
music has been proven, that it can pull people out of comas. It can reach people who are having cognitive issues. I mean,
explain how you feel to somebody else, when you don't have words. Those things.
The day after we're recording this, the old 97s are getting an award, not to brag, but I have to write thank you. I have to write a little thank you speech, and I've written so many versions of it. But the one version, it's 1 minute long. It's like, what am I even doing here? Yeah. But the one version was sort of telling the audience, basically the young songwriters in the audience, you're going to beat yourself up about this job you do because you're going to miss out on birthdays and things. You're going to sacrifice a lot to do this job, but I want you to know that there's nobility in this job. Like it's this really beautiful gift you're giving the universe. Yeah. And then I have one friend who's a writer that I talked about it with, and they're like, yeah, you can't say that. It's not, you don't sound humble. You sound like the opposite of humble, whatever that is.
I want to see your speech. If you're letting everybody give notes, I'm going to give mine. I'm qualified, but I don't know that. Well, first you have to give the speech because when you're getting recognized and there's people involved, they want to, and then if you don't, then that's just rude.
Sure.
And plus, y'all deserve it. Damn it. What is the award?
Lifetime achievement.
Hell yeah.
Thanks.
Hell yeah.
But I like what you're saying because there's like value to this thing that we do that seems, maybe to us at least, frivolous.
Well, it only feels frivolous to me when I think about my own work, because the way I am with music, I go to it constantly, and it serves me, all the time, for, whatever purpose.
Like the act of creation is its own sort of...
No, like the act of being a listener, as a real music fan.
Oh, yeah.
Like the way you have go-to records, or the way you can set up like an experience, I guess, or you can the different, I don't know if you like what's his name in the Wailers, Bob Marley.
Yeah, sure.
But that one does a thing for certain kind of people, and I don't know, I like have go-to records that just instantly will take you out of something and put you into another. And I also have go-to records for when I want people to leave my house. I'm not going to tell you what they are because then you'll know my trick.
Exactly. So that's one thing I really wonder about is for you when it started. And I know it was young. I mean, I knew you not long after you had started. Was there like an epiphany moment? Did you always know it was going to be music? Do you remember a moment when you were like, oh yeah, this is going to be my whole life?
Sort of, yes. I found the violin and I decided that I had to figure that out. It was mysterious and like some kind of... I had to convince my dad, because we weren't a family of money, in Mineral Wells, Texas. In the summer, he was buying a hunting knife. Went to a pawn shop. It was up there on the wall. And I got it, and he made me swear I would learn it. And I went into the yard because he smoked weed inside like I didn't know. And proceeded to break all the strings, and then took it home to my mom's, and then she got me into the school orchestra, and then I went to lessons and started learning fiddle. And it was when I was working with the Playboys that I thought I could do it,
Yeah.
And
the Texas Playboys, which still blows my mind, and you were a kid.
Well, luckily I had a good teacher in Lubbock that saw, like when I was 13 or 14, I would be really good at classical passages. Like I would do the work like I was like first chair of the youth symphony and all this stuff, but then I was starting to get really bored with a lot of the passages. He said, get through this lesson and I'm going to show you something. And he was working with one of the Texas Playboys on what's it called when you transcribing these old fiddle tunes that nobody had heard before, that kind of predated these, and showed me a Bob Wills one, and I loved it in improvisation. And that is, I think, because at that age, having no real vocabulary for communicating my feelings, because that's not something we did back in those days.
In Mineral Wells, y'all didn't talk a lot about
None of us did. I think this is of the generations like now, right?
Yeah.
And it gave me that expression that I didn't have at the ready, and I kind of just followed it around. I was like, that's my thing. I got out of the lesson. I said, Mom, I'm a fiddle player now. And she said, only if you continue your violin stuff, then you can do both. And that was how I did that. What was the question?
Just, the origin story.
Oh, right. There's the origin story. And it was Billy Joe Shaver who told me that I should go to be a songwriter in Nashville. And that was I thought I was getting fired.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How old were you when he told you that? He's crazy, by the way.
He's 21. I was 21. He was not as crazy as he is, had a set of very specific rules as an old fellow with those folks that have that, Texans, and they have this strict code of like what's acceptable and what's not, and how you talk to people and how you don't.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was a little crazy, but
Yeah,
in the best ways.
In the best ways. That's great. And he told you to be a songwriter.
Well, this is how it happened.
Okay.
So the Texas Playboys, we had, I had learned from them that you could play the shows, and also each individual one of them had their own like CD, but it was to supplement the, after the show, people walk past and buy it, and so you could make another $10, $15, and it was also like kind of a business card in a way.
Yeah.
And because that was the only experience I had, I thought that was normal. So when I was playing with Billy Joe, when I finally remembered to take the CDs, I set them out, didn't ask. I didn't know that was a rule, I was like, just hadn't been doing enough. And it was pre-artist, Amanda, like songwriting one, but I had to write a couple of songs because I had public domain songs, but I didn't want to pay like whatever, I forgot what their name, Harry Fox Agency or somebody, money to sing a song. So wrote a couple, but then he saw that thing on the CD thing, and he's like, what in the hell is that? And I was like, it's my Fiddle record. What are you talking about? And he was like, I don't know about that. What made you think you could do that? And I was like, well, that's what we did in the Texas Playboys. Does everybody else do that? He's like, I don't know about that. Then we get in the car. He's driving a Buick, kind of like black kind of town car, but he treats it like a race car. And he's got those like gauges for what are they, radars?
Oh yeah,
and
radar
one
detector.
on like each side of the thing, and he's hitting barrels, and he's got guns in his boots and Canadian tuxedo, like down to here and there, and same belt since 50 years ago. And he's like, it's time to put that record on. I was like, oh, we really shouldn't do that. It's fiddle music, and it's a lot of fiddle music, fiddle tunes. And we did, and there's a song I wrote. He's like, you wrote this? I was like, yep. Kept letting it play. We listened to more fiddle tunes, and there's another one. He's like, you wrote this too? And I was like, yep. He said, sounds to me like you want to go be a songwriter in Texas or in Nashville, and you need to move there. And I was like, I don't want that. I love my job. And then a year later, I told him that I was going to go pursue my dreams of being a waitress in Nashville. But I also said I wasn't going to sideman for anybody that I couldn't learn from, because I was having trouble anyway getting 6-7 months in after his inception idea. I was trying to get booked, and people were like, but you're just a sideman, Yeah. Mike Snyder was like, I don't know about that.
Oh my God.
But then
Mike's a character in Dallas that runs some clubs that we both have known since we were wee sprites. Yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, I can imagine being the sideman thing would be rough because it probably pays pretty well.
You're stable.
It's stable. You're easy. Like, even think about like Sheryl Crow.
Yeah.
The years that she spent as a backup singer or whatever. Like, how brave is it then to step out from that?
It's well, for me, I knew that it would be easy to fall back into, so I had to make the decision, like, if I'm really going to do this, I'm going to have to set myself up a couple of rules. And the best one I could think of was to only play with people I could learn something songwriting wise from.
Love that.
Because it's it's how it happens.
And then when you decided that, like, who was your first?
I played.
Did it work? Is what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I moved and I started waiting tables. And this is like I hadn't had to do that in a while, and I worked for Justin Townes Earl and a couple of other folks, all kinds of good songwriters. Like I would go to the Bluebird and stuff too, and hang around and play, and so many folks. But anyway, then I had to think of reasons to say no to other people. Like, sorry, I have to wait tables that night. But it's like what else? A lot of people.
So I get the feeling that you are very intentional about the way you use music to work through stuff. That makes it sound cheap, but maybe, but
That's not cheap. I think that's as good a reason as any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. But I wonder, like, when you are confronted by the internal obstacles, like the internally generated obstacles, like Roseanne Cash on my first ever interview talked about success guilt. People talk about imposter syndrome all the time. The negative inner critic that lives in there and tries to keep us from being our best selves. Do you what strategies have you come up with to get through those?
Well, I think that I used music this way, in the way you're describing on this record, for sure. In the past, like, I've been I felt like more called to affect change, like with the Highwaymen record when I started that idea, and that was me not using it like it's a not like using music, but like as a carrier for ideas and things. But it'd been a while since I'd had music come to my aid, and that's what happened in this record. But usually I can write stories. I draw from my mom's stories or my dad's. He was a wild one. But anyway, as far as imposter syndrome goes and all that, I think there's a lot of accepting that that's natural. Like, if you are one that has it, and then a lot of folks that have it tend to be better at the craft, that I've noticed. And and if they say they don't have it, they're probably lying. Because there's a lot of folks out there that really think they're God's gift to it, and they've got all ego and confidence, and their songs don't do shit for me.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just too the nature of it mostly being a male-driven or dominated place too. Because I've read recently that testosterone has a lot to do with confidence.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if it's true. I'm no scientist, but I do have two eyes that read.
I'm no scientist.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's a lot like that Portlandia sketch where people are like, water is good for you, water is bad for you. Need organic, don't need organic. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Yeah, it's funny. The I don't know if you're sort of talking about unearned confidence, but that idea of just like having so much confidence. I've never had it. My two now adult children both they don't have it in disgusting measure, but they both have a level of confidence that makes me so happy and proud that I somehow did whatever part I did in shepherding them to this moment of being able to say, like, I'm awesome. Like, I'm really awesome. That's
where I think it comes from, encouragement too as a kid, or and if your parents are seeing you go into the music, route, they might also be afraid for you. And people go into it for different reasons, but I think that at every step I took, everybody wanted me to have a backup plan, which makes sense. And so I did those things. But
did you have a backup plan, like a safety net?
Yeah, I almost completed my master's of architecture and then decided I was going to travel. Yeah, at Tech. And then I decided I was getting out with a geography degree with a minor in social planning because my aunt was a city planner, sorry. Yeah. And I was like, if worst case scenario, I'll go live with my aunt and, I don't know, be her secretary or something. And yeah, I didn't have to do that.
That's so funny. So I did the opposite. I never had a plan B because I knew that if I did, I might be tempted to use it. So you had this kind of awesome sounding backup plan.
Well, it was to
appease your
make
mom.
My mom not feel so worried because she was like a single mom and she'd like worked. She didn't own a house till I was in college, at the end of high school. And yeah, when somebody invests that much time and all of that and helps you with scholarships to get fiddle lessons, and you just see what she's done to get you this far. You can't now then let her down.
Yeah.
Not that she would be. She would be fine if I was in jail. She'd send me baked goods.
With a file inside of them.
Yes, definitely. The other things to fight all that is sometimes I think this is one of my ideas, if you keep practicing, you can't get worse. So I keep practicing every day.
See, when you start out on an instrument like the fiddle or the violin, I feel like there's so much practicing that must go into making you, especially like as a child prodigy like you were.
No, not a child prodigy. I just did pretty good.
Well, you might be underestimating your own awesomeness at that age. But my point is, like, you did a lot of practicing. So that was really like a big part of your life in the early days of like, for me, I learned like 6 chords and I'm like, that's enough. Let's now go.
They don't need any more than that. Leonard Cohen didn't need more than that.
Facts.
But violins and like, you can't really accompany yourself very easily with that.
Yeah.
You do get good at melodies and, it's really fun to jam, but you kind of need somebody to jam with unless you're just going to sit there and play with your radio, which is fine too, but...
So when you were just a violin player, you brought this up earlier, and I think about it all the time, especially now that I've been teaching songwriting a school in Manhattan that's as part of a big jazz program. So a lot of the kids that come into I'm supposed to call them students.
Oh, right.
They're like, classical musicians, and I feel like that would be hard, like only being allowed to play the notes that are on the page in that order. So when you figured out that you were able to play extemporaneously, was that like just a beautiful moment?
Yes, but it was also a lot of trial and error. Like there was I would start some leads in that band, and I would just well, there went that. But luckily I was with the Texas Playboys, and there would, here comes Tom Morell going wow on the steel, whatever.
Yeah.
The first time I had to sing was an embarrassment. It was absolutely embarrassing. It was. We'd practiced. It was my first time I was going to sing. It was for one of their cowboy Christmas concerts. And I started to sing this song, A Little Walk With You. It's called Sure Would Go Good. And it's Tommy Alsop running the band. He was the guitar player for Buddy Holly and Leon Rausch. It was Bobby Boatwright. It was
That's
all
incredible.
these great guys. And I did the little fiddle thing with the other fiddle players. And nothing came out. And then I was like, almost got a tear. I looked at them. I was like, what's happening? And then they were just like, they just held the groove down. And I have a picture that my friend took where Leon Rausch held my hand, and he walked me back up there, and we're just started singing it. It was so cool. But it was also not the most fun, because then I felt like I couldn't trust myself. But then you get used to it.
But that's big. I mean, a lot of people are going to start out in like a talent show or something. Like you build up, and you're starting out like.
I would never do a talent show because I was already getting beat with my fiddle. Like people would chase me and follow me around, and how they do, kids.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny. I forgot that you had worked with Tommy Alsop. That's incredible.
Yeah, he was running that band. He's the reason that him and Frankie McWhorter. It was also because I was cool playing the third part, which has less movement. And
did you ever get to meet Waylon? I don't know how the math would work out. You'd have been too young.
But that's how I met Shooter. Was with I was with Tommy.
Yeah.
We were always hanging out, and he was teaching me stuff all the time. And we went to Lubbock because Jesse and Shooter were up there, and they were gonna visit and stuff. And I met him late '90s.
Yeah, I just not long before he died, we got to work with Waylon, and over lunch he just told us Buddy Holly stories, and it was. Like just how generous he was and cool Waylon was to us, like because he could have big timed us all day long. I was Waylon Jennings, but he was just so sweet, and to hear him tell these stories, and he told the story about the flipping the coin to get on the airplane, and which is a story he's told a million times. But we were just collaborators, and he was telling us this story, and he got choked up, and I was just thinking like this is how you should be. This is how somebody, like if I ever make it to the age he is, which actually I'm actually pretty close right now to how old he was, I just want to be good.
You haven't lived as hard. You haven't lived as hard.
Boy, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Especially the last 10 years sober.
Wow, congratulations.
Thanks so much, not to brag.
No, brag away.
But yeah, so that was, and then the fact you got to work with Tommy, that's so cool. So I wonder if you wouldn't mind trying to distill some of this wisdom you've accrued over all these years and imagine a 21-year-old version of Amanda in today's world, and what advice you might give her.
I would say definitely still do the master's degree. That was helpful. I would also say, let me think about this. This is a good one. 21-year-old me? I would probably tell myself not to jump off that rope swing. I broke my finger in 3 places in 2011. It's not recovered, and it won't. But I still can play.
Left hand.
I don't. Yeah, I would say that. I would say. What else would I say?
I like that your first one was telling yourself to do the thing that you had done. Like that's such a great, I don't know if I've ever had anybody say that before. It's always don't do this, don't do that, but you started off by saying do.
In the middle of all that, I remember thinking, what in the hell? I was getting like ocular migraines and not being able to see. Like there is there are good things about reading James Joyce, but it's not Finnegan's Wake or any of that bullshit, you know. And I'd probably tell myself that spending a lot of time with inanimate objects, people tend to think that you might be a word they only use for girls, crazy. But really, it's just a lot of time with inanimate objects and books and things. But I prefer that.
Is that still something?
To people.
Yeah.
Most people. Because there's the people that are truly awesome and can put up with a lifestyle like ours, where you travel a lot and can't be there for things, are few and far between.
It's hard.
And no, but that's okay, because you don't need too many of them. It'd be a distraction.
Yeah.
From your inanimate objects.
Well, I love that. I think this is so sweet. I mean, obviously, I could talk to you all day long.
Well, I have so many more questions.
Well, if you, I've finished with
so
the grilling.
I love the interludes and how they progress, and I love the last song.
On my new record.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that last song is awesome. I know that you had to have some kind of surgery or something.
I had vocal cord surgery a week after we recorded all my vocals for that.
That sounds terrifying.
It was. I had a cyst on one of my, and then a reactive polyp had grown on the other.
Had you considered re-imbibing? That's just a joke.
Yeah. It was scary, but I feel like I can hear it when I listen to that record now. I can hear the pain in my voice, and I definitely couldn't hit. There was all sorts of my range that was unavailable to me that is now available, and it's great.
I should have brought some of these awesome pictures I have from some Dallas shows. I have a really cool one where I was young and people handed me alcohol, but I was passed out in the green room at the Granada.
Is this the Granada?
That's one of them. Yeah, it was just hilarious. I have all these pictures of, I was cold, so I had undid all these napkins and covered myself with them. And y'all came in there and did some. It was awesome.
I remember I was worried about you that night.
Oh, I just was tired.
No, but you were going to pass out or fall asleep, and I put you in that far little dressing room, and I got the security guard to stand outside the door because you're just such a kid.
I was such a kid, but also Daniel was there, but knew all the people, but
yeah,
you know what I mean, it wasn't like y'all had a bunch of we didn't have a bunch of people back there or anything, but it's still cool that somebody gave a shit. But
we were walking on stage, and I was just like, oh gosh,
Yeah. That was a way more comfortable situation than others that I've found myself in that weren't even of my own doing, but that's for another day.
So I don't get to talk to many people that started young, and I started at 16. I started doing this professionally, like 5 nights a week at 16, and I also
before that show we drove to see y'all all the time. All the time. Wait, let me ask you, what was that like getting a call for clay pigeons?
Well, there wasn't much to it. They just wanted to use the song, and
it was so perfect.
It was really cool. So a lot of people don't know that movie. I
have it on DVD if anyone wants to borrow it. It's one of my favorites. It's hilarious.
It was Joaquin Phoenix's sort of first ever.
Janine Garofalo.
And Janine was in it, and that was when I think she was dating Vince at the time.
Interesting.
I just remember being at a party with them, and
it's a rock star.
He had his arm around her, but basically the top of her head was in his armpit because she was short.
Yeah.
And he's giant.
Yeah.
They did have, there's a funny story because they'd asked us if they could use Time Bomb as the opening. Like there's a little scene and then Time Bomb plays over the opening credits. But then later there was going to be a scene where, spoiler alert, Vince Vaughn is like a serial killer in the movie. And they did want to use my song Big Brown Eyes over a scene where Vince murders a girl while they're actually having sex.
That'd be awesome.
But it wasn't, because they're having sex, and then he murders her in the middle of having sex with her. And I was like, I don't really feel comfortable.
What song did they use?
You know what? They ended up cutting the scene, or cutting most of it. There was some.
Yeah, there was just an illusion of it. It was like, I think it was just
But it was. They showed me the scene and asked if I was okay with it.
And there's like, nope.
It was a really hard thing to say no to because it's, it was some of the first usage I'd ever gotten.
Right. The juxtaposition of that, though, with the way the serial killer with the dark comedy was just, it was really cool.
That was a fun thing. And Vince was really cool. He's been very supportive of us over the years.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So I've talked as fast as I could to get as many questions in as possible. And I still have more.
Well, you know what? We can just do a bonus podcast at some point.
Yeah, or you can give me your email address.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah,
or your phone number. I won't use it like that. Don't worry. I won't call you when I'm in jail. I'm going to call Nico Bolas. He's good for 10,000.
Oh, that's amazing.
It says when he calls you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. Don't go to jail. Why are you going to jail in this scenario?
I don't know. You just never know. Like one time I got it doesn't matter, pre-body cams and stuff. I got pulled over. I hadn't been drinking or anything, and the guy was untoward, so I decided to attempt a form tackle and then got it disorderly on a cop, But, just defending my own honor.
Oh, man, I love it. This is very cool.
This was back when I had more fight in me, too, so.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like you're still feisty.
Not feisty, but not fighty.
Okay, that's
feisty,
good. That's an
but not
important
fighty.
Distinction. Well, congrats on the new record.
Thank you.
I think the world of you, and I'm really glad that you and I are both still working. Look at us.
Look at us.
Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Well, thank you more. It's my honor, and can't wait to ask you more questions about your music once these things are turned off.
All the cameras.
Yeah.